Welcome everybody. In this video we're going to be building an AutoMapper clone using source generators. In the previous two approaches we used expression APIs and IL code generation. There are going to be some additional videos where we are going to repeat this experiment using reflection and Roslyn code generators at runtime, and then we're going to compare all of them and see where the performance stands. Remember, this is not a tutorial on source generators, so please keep in mind that I'm going to assume you know some things, but I will explain the setup. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, check the description and subscribe if you don't want to miss the future videos. And if they're out by the time you're watching this, check the description and subscribe anyway. What are you doing? Quality videos over here. Anyway, we got quite a bit to cover, so let's take a look at this. We have our app. This is where we build up our app, and then we have the generator solution. This is the thing that is going to be looking at our app and generating code on the back of it. Things to keep in mind: the generator basically takes a look at our app as a bunch of text files and then picks apart through it. I'm going to show you some techniques you can use to make your life easier, but pretty much the setup is the generator solution is just a copy of what you're going to find in the documentation, and this is just a hello world example right here. So not much going on in the generator project. This is what you're going to get from the docs if you're reading through them. In the app solution, this is how you reference it. Again, this is just from the docs, and this is an additional thing that is not in the docs. Emit compile generated files. If you do not have this, you're not going to see what your generator is creating. So just add these two lines, and I mean the names speak for themselves really. So we have our program CS, familiar situation, class A, class B. We want to map from one to the other. As I've said, the generator project basically receives the app code as just a bunch of text files, and it's going to look through them. Now, what's going to happen is each individual one of these, like the class declaration, the property declaration, the type of the property, all of these are like just one big tree, and each individual ones of these is a syntax token that we can take a look at individually or listen for individually. The way that you can inspect or see what kind of syntax or what kind of thing to listen for in Visual Studio, you would use the syntax tree visualizer extension. In Writer, you can use the Rosint extension. So this is this Rosint, and yeah, you would take a look at the class and you will see that it's a class declaration and class declaration syntax. So I'm going to show you what listening for these syntax tokens looks like in a bit. But for now, what we want to do is we want to mark these classes to be picked up to create the mapping logic. So we're going to have a bunch of classes. We don't want to map from all classes. We want to mark the classes that we want to map. So let's just create an attribute. So map attribute, can't spell. And there we go. Nothing too complicated. Let's put map here and map here. So anything that has a map, we are going to make sure that we're going to create the logic for mapping from one to the other. Now let's head on over to the generator, the bare bones setup, where we need to set up a syntax receiver. So class syntax receiver, and we implement the iSyntax receiver interface, implement the members. And again, just don't know how to spell receiver, hard English words. But here it is. This syntax node is essentially, if we take a look at this class right here, and I will keep this extension open. I know this might be a little bit hard to look at, but everything or most of what you see here, all the syntax tokens, everything that has a type in the syntax token will fly through this method. And what you want to do is you want to pattern match and aggregate the things that are flying through this method. What we also want to do is we actually want to register this method. So register for syntax token notifications. We want to create our new syntax receiver. And then this part is where the logic for generating code will sit. So we want to go ahead and get our syntax receiver here. This will be our receiver, and let's just make sure that we convert it to our desired type. And again, this can be called the class syntax receiver, just so we have a little bit of a difference in names there. But that's pretty much it. Now we will start listening for syntax tokens. So what this looks like is if a syntax token is a class declaration syntax, so CDS, I want to go ahead and do something with it. Now I'm just going to invert this so I can return here. And what can happen is the source generators can throw an exception and you're not going to know what is happening. So let's just throw a new exception and see what failure looks like. That's there. Let's open up a new terminal in the app and let's just try to run it. I know the code isn't going to work right now, But if we take a look, we're going to see an error like this, which will output why we have failed. And this is where you're going to see the CSC tag. So as you're building up your source code generator, just a tip, you want to sprinkle up your throw exceptions and the reason for why something might fail. And just again, another tip, you want to actually spit out the thing that you're looking at and replace the line endings with something like an empty space. So then when you are trying to run your application and you are seeing the output, you can actually see on which node you're attempting to work with and which node is failing. So here you can see we're looking at class A. We're never reaching class B because we're already throwing an exception, but this is pretty much where we will identify the two class declarations that we have. And if we have additional class declarations, they will also go through this place. So what we want to check is if a class declaration has this map attribute, and you can figure out the structure again through using rosint. So let's take a look at this. We'll come back to program, we'll go to map, we'll zoom in, and what we're looking for is class declaration. On class declaration, you're going to have the attribute list, and then on here you're going to have attributes, which is this attribute, and then this is going to have an identifier name, and specifically in the attributes here you can see where it sits. So if you scroll down a little bit right here, so name. So this is what we want to check for. Let's go into the generator and we will go right here if CDS, so our class declaration syntax attribute list has any attributes where any, and just gotta import link here, so this actually works. Now for the X, we're looking at an attribute list syntax. Here we want to get the individual attributes. So pay attention. Class declaration attribute lists. So there can be many attribute lists. I'm not sure why, but are there any attributes list where one of the attributes that has a name of map, which is our attribute, and this is name syntax type. So many types can potentially be inheriting from that. So you can take a look if something has a string value here, or you can just to string it and see, is this a map that we're looking at? So let's just rename this link variable. So if we have this, or if we don't have this, we want to return, because this is a class declaration, but it doesn't have a map attribute that we're interested in. However, now that we know that it has a map attribute, let's go ahead and take a look at the properties. So again, we're going to come back, we're going to click on the ID, and we're going to take a look at the property declaration. So here we can try to look for CDS and then property. We don't have it. What's the name for properties, fields, functions on a class? It's called something like a member, right? So here we have member declarations. So we're just gonna select not many, but we're gonna select everything that is a property declaration syntax. Again, hopefully I'm not going too fast, but if we zoom in on the property declaration that is on the class declaration, you can see it's property declaration syntax. So I'm going to do this, and then where x doesn't equal null. So if it's not a property declaration syntax, if it's anything else, it's just going to end up as null. So I want to grab everything that is a property declaration syntax, and then I'm just going to list this. These are going to be my properties. And now what I would recommend, and what I usually do when I work with these, is I create some kind of a package thing, right? So I've taken a look at the syntax and I extract only the information that I need. So this is going to be our class that we're taking a look at, and it has some kind of name, and then it's going to have a bunch of properties which are going to be the same. So really this is like a list of strings, right? So properties, and let's make sure that we import list here. So finally we're going to construct that class, and this is where this becomes an aggregator. So this is going to aggregate a bunch of classes, all the classes that we want to map from one to another. So class mappings, and then at the end we want to go ahead and class mappings, not any, we just want to add a new class. So from the class declaration, we want to grab the identifier and the text of the class and add the properties on the end, which by the end actually are just going to be just strings. So let's grab those. So select, again, identifier and just the text. And again, this picked select many for me. I just want select. There we go. So hopefully this makes sense. We grab all the property declarations, and specifically we go for the text of the identifiers. So again, if I zoom in on the property here again, I have the property declaration. I have 2 of them here. I then go for the identifier token, and then I go for the ID bit of it. So I just go for the text. So I'm going to end up with the ID and the name, and I'm going to aggregate both A and B. Finally, I'm going to have this information right here. So receiver, I want to go ahead and loop over these twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a for loop. This is going to go for the length of receiver clone mappings count. I'm going to just create another one that is going to do exactly the same, but with J. And specifically what I'm looking for is if I equals J, that means we're looping over the same thing. So let's just skip that. So we don't want to map A to A. It's the same thing. Unless that's the kind of behavior that you want, then go for it. But this is where we're going to start with the from. So this will be receiver, class mappings, and I'm going to supply I. And most likely I actually want to initiate the from somewhere here. I'll duplicate this and I will put this over here. And this is the to class that we want to convert to, but this is going to be J. So first we're going to see from A to B, and then from B to A. And we're going to skip from A to A and from B to B. At this point, you actually want to start generating the code, and what you're going to see in the documentation is them using a string builder. There is a little bit of a better way, although I don't want to make this example potentially have more new information than what you already know. So we will just use a string builder for this. I will make a video later on source generators and all the different tips and tricks that I know of or that my friend knows of. We will start off with creating our class. So this is going to be a public static mapper, and let's not forget class right there. Public static mapper class. I will make sure I close off the brace on the end. I then want to create a method that converts one type to another. Again, I know the names, which I'm saving right here, both of the identifiers, which are going to be on the from and to. So let's copy this. Oh, didn't mean to jump there. Let's place this over here, and this is where we're creating a function. So public static, the type that we're returning. So this is going to be to. Again, I'm using a string builder, so I'm going to supply the type here. To identifier, or sorry, name, so public static B, and then we're gonna supply a space. We're gonna call this function map. We're gonna open a brace, and then we're gonna supply the type, which is going to be A, and then we can supply a name for it, which is going to be from, and close off the brace and put the curly brace for opening the function. And then at the end, let's just go ahead and close the function. So now we just want to put property mappings in between. We can also go as far as giving this a little bit more of a shorthand syntax. So return new, we can say B or from. I can just go ahead and start using, the right syntax. So I'm just going to avoid the new brace, and I'm going to use the implicit new statement and close off the brace on the end. And in the middle, I'm going to put property initializers. So let's slide down. I'll put a little bit of space here. We'll go to from properties for each from property. If we have that to property, so same logic to properties first or default, where these are the same. If to property is null, we just want to go ahead and skip that property. Otherwise, that's what we want to append. So let's append, the property name will be the same. So we can just use to property, and I'm putting it inside the if statement. I just realized this, so let's put it outside. So to property equals from dot, and let's assume that potentially they could have different names. And then finally, we will put a comma on the end. Which could be a character. One thing that I've just noticed I forgot is when I return new right here on the object, I'm gonna need a semicolon. Otherwise, I'm gonna get a compilation error. So this looks okayish. Again, you can review this if you want. If there are going to be errors, we're going to spot them in a minute. But what you then want to do is you want to go to context, add source, and then let's say mapper. The convention is that you append G or generated, and then you give it the source text. So source text from SB to string. So we build the string builder, we put it into source text. I think you can supply it just as you want it, but that's that. So let's go ahead and rerun this. Let's look at this, and we're gonna see a CSC generator failed with a null reference exception. I'm not gonna waste too much time on spending like putting exceptions and seeing what's actually wrong. I know that I haven't actually initialized my list, so let's just run this again. Let's look at this again, and it looks like we haven't set the encoding. Again, if you're doing the source text from, you will need to do something like UTF-8, but again, I didn't think I actually need this source text from. You can actually just do SB to string like this. So okay, and messed it up again. So let's just rerun it. So right, source text from string, and then the format, otherwise another spell. Okay, so we're back to not having a main function, but this actually looks like an error for the app. It doesn't look like an error from the source generator. So here we're gonna see the generated files, and we're gonna, well, see our mapper. So here it is. Will I be able to format it? Maybe not. Let's take it into program, put it over here, and see if we can format it a little bit. And there it is. So for the mapper, it's gonna say that it's probably, well, missing partial, otherwise it already exists. For these, we're gonna see a cannot convert expression of type to return type B. Okay, so probably missing out these braces there. Okay, so let's come back to the generator. Let's come here, and where I'm saying new, let's just add the braces and well, be done with it. So let's delete the mapper. Again, we're just gonna rerun this to rebuild the generated files. And then yeah, again, we don't have the main because we don't actually have any logic. So if first what we'll do is console write line something like hello world, rerun this. So we're printing out hello world. There are a couple of errors that we don't really care about, but the end story is you have your outputted file, and well, it compiles. So what we can actually do is, well, start using our mapper class. I'm going to drop down the terminal, and yeah, that's the mapper that is generated. We want to map, let's say, new a, oh, pretty sure, okay, so you have to supply the type, otherwise it doesn't know. Okay, can never remember all the syntax, or, you know, there are so many tools in C#, it's mental. But there we have it. So we're mapping to B, and then we want to console write line. So let's just output something like ID, and then name, and B, and name, right? And then we will add something on top of that as well. So there's our main application. Let's remove the console write line, and let's run this. And there we see the automatic conversion. So if we take this a little bit further, same as we did before, so body and word, body we will set to something like blah blah blah, and then we want to also print the word, be word. So let's give this a default value of A or something like that, and we will run this. We will see A, and if we actually have the properties aligned, we will see the word being mapped correctly. And again, the actual generated file, you will see that it extends to having the word right there. And yeah, it is a little bit annoying to see it like that on one line. As I've said, there are things that you can do to actually make it prettier, but I would say the approach is not quite straightforward. Nevertheless, this is it, another solution for creating an AutoMapper clone, however, using source generators. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and learned something. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Thank you very much to all my patrons who are supporting me. It really helps out a lot. If you're not supporting me, please consider. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, join the Discord server, and don't forget to have a good day. Come on, what are you doing?